Can pure chaos catch the fastest man alive? Reality bending speed versus reality bending powers. The rules are they're both bloodlusted, which means they won't hold back and they want to win. Me and him are going to scale them to what we can agree upon, and at the end of the video, we're going to do conclusions and scenarios. I'll do Wally, and he'll cover Wanda.
So Scarlet Witch's lifting and striking strength isn't very high, at least to our knowledge. This part is going to be pretty short for Wanda because we don't really know what her strength is scaled to. Her power resides in a different aspect. In her early days, Wanda was a vessel for Chthon. Chthon is a being that could easily be eternity and is on a higher plane of existence than Dormammu, considering that Dormammu draws his powers from Chthon. Because Wanda is a vessel for this being, she is able to wield chaos magic, telepathy, reality warping, and probability manipulation. In a more recent comic, Wanda actually absorbed the Darkhold and Chthon, receiving the powers from both of them. With this newfound power, she was able to go toe-to-toe with the Griever, but she did lose the first time and almost died. Later on, she did get brought back with some help, but now she was ready for round 2. With the help of Quicksilver, the Griever was defeated. Let's make this clear so we don't get any backlash. They did not kill the Griever. All she did was unravel her body. Wanda also said it herself that the Griever could return. On a brighter note, in the House of M comics, Scarlet Witch says 3 words that could scale her at multiversal. This famous line wiped out 90% of the mutants' powers throughout the multiverse. She was also the one who created the universe in the House of M comic book. We know this is a different universe due to Wolverine and his, red hair fetish. But for real though, Quicksilver manipulated Wanda to make an alternate universe, basically saying you could give everyone everything they dreamed of. And Spider-Man is actually happy and is a celebrated hero. And hearing that, we already know the universe is fake. With her ability to rewrite reality, she can technically make anything that weighs over the amount that she can carry lighter. Let's say she was lifting weights and couldn't lift 500 pounds. She can make the weights weigh less so that she's able to pick it up, or she could just make herself stronger so she could lift it. We would scale her strength to high universal to multiversal.
This is also going to be pretty short for Wally because we know his strength comes from his speed. All the strong things that I'm going to mention about Wally probably will be in the speed section. We're also going to use every other single Flash to see how strong Wally is because my boy Wally is the fastest Flash, so everything they can do, he can do. So let's start off with Zoom beating the entire Justice League, including Superman and Wonder Woman. Now, how did he beat them? Well, of course, he beat them with his speed, which is, not really strength. Later, Zoom got amped, which means he was stronger. And with the power of family, Wally was able to beat Zoom. Oh, and here's Barry saying that Wally's the fastest man alive, and Wally's like outpacing Barry. It's hard to determine how strong Wally is only using his speed, but I guess that is his strength and the whole point of the Flash. But some ways he can take people down is phasing his hand through someone, or even atomizing them, or making them explode, which is, I guess, the same thing. I mean, he also is able to throw like 100,000 punches, which is what he did to Ultraman. And clearly, this kind of hurts Ultraman as well. There's also the infinite mass punch, and it's where he runs around to charge up a deadly punch, and as the name suggests, infinite mass. Not really a lot to talk about, honestly. Later in the video, we talk about his abilities and how strong his speed force powers are, but like for strength wise, not much. So I guess I'm ending his strength section here.
This part is obviously not going to be as much as Wally's. Like, come on guys, he's the Flash. But don't sleep on Wanda's speed now. Let's see how she will match up against the fastest man in the multiverse. For starters, Wanda's speed is actually pretty impressive. You could rank her to immeasurable speed. Wait. Here's why. So when Wanda was fighting Agatha, they were actually fighting through the Omniverse. During this fight, they start in the Black Seas of the Inner Plane, then the Superflow, then the Lands of Legends, then the Megaverse, and finally the Witch's Road. This feat was stated to have happened in a breath of 2 words, but actually, Darcy didn't know Wanda and Agatha even left the room. They had 5 separate full-length fights, and she didn't even know they left. So instead of being based on the breath, it would actually be based on what she sees. Assuming that time works the same in each place that they travel, this would mean her speed would be immeasurable. We say this because she could have spent hours or even longer, and Darcy didn't even know they were gone. We also see them having conversations, so it's safe to say that this could be high weight to immeasurable. If you do say the breath statement is valid, she would be massively faster than light. Another argument you could use about her speed is the same thing we said for strength. She could just make herself faster. She had no limitations to her chaos magic after absorbing the Darkhold. We still wouldn't say that she's as fast as Wally, because, he's faster than the concept itself, but you never know.
So like before, we're going to use every single Flash feat because Wally's the fastest Flash. So let's get this out the way. Obviously, he's faster than Superman, as it's been shown that Superman can't keep up with Barry or Wally, and even Superman stated that he couldn't keep up with them. Even Green Lantern tried to stop them, and he almost got his ring broken. Another thing I want to mention is Flash and Zoom were moving so fast that everything was frozen, including Superman. And we all know Superman is much faster than the speed of light, and he's frozen, dude. It's like Quicksilver in the X-Men movie, but instead of like people slightly moving and explosion moving, everything is frozen. If you want to bring up Superman beating Flash in a race, remember guys, it was for charity. It was a a lot of inconsistencies with like the Flash, and that's due to like the writers nerfing him, like Deathstroke stabbing the Flash. Like what? Well, Deathstroke planted bombs, so there was only one way to get to Deathstroke, and Deathstroke saw that way, and you know. But if you do want to use this and be like, Wally sucks because he got stabbed by Deathstroke, Batman, who's beaten Deathstroke more than I'm eating McDonald's, just gets blitzed by Barry. Says right here, I could hit you 100 times before you throw a punch. And like I mentioned before, Barry says that Wally is the fastest man alive. Wally was also able to outrun Death, and before you say, nuh-uh, it shows right here that he got caught by Death. Well, if you just turn to the other page, it shows Death has been outran because Wally ran to the end of time. And there's a lot of arguments on like this feat in general. People saying that Death actually caught up to him, or saying Wally just outsmarted him. Let me put it like this. Let's pretend the end of time is the finish line, and Death and Wally have to run to the end of time. If Wally makes it to the finish line first before Death can catch up to him or get him, he outran Death. Like, it doesn't really make sense to argue against that, bro. Anyways, this man is able to take your kinetic energy, make him faster, and make you stop frozen in time. Why bring this up now? Because he used this ability to beat instant teleportation, and you already know this comic is old, and right now Wally is like much faster than what he was before, but of course we can't just say that without providing proof. So all y'all Wally gobblers and riders, come together. We're gonna talk about the big one, outrunning the Speed Force. Now, before some of you say he was amped by this guy, he says himself, hey man, I saw you, bro. I didn't really do much. All I did was channel hope into a good man. Now, the Speed Force is what gives Wally and all the speedsters their powers. It's what gives the universe its motion, and Wally West outran it. So if the Speed Force is what gives the universe its motion and it exists everywhere, that's kind of like the concept of speed, right? So he's beyond the concept of speed, or, you know, on the concept of speed. But yeah, that's pretty fast, man. And in recent comics, he walks out of his own story. I don't know. I can't lie. Just make what you will of that. But one thing I do know that I did read in this recent comic, Wally broke through the barrier of creation itself, the source wall. Now, this wall is no joke. It was able to trap a person like Perpetua, who is a 6-dimensional being, which is the highest plane of existence in the DC multiverse. Before you say Wally was being controlled or anything like that, or being amped, these guys literally said they needed him to run. They wanted to use his powers, saying stuff like focus on running and don't listen to us and blah 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 blah. So this basically means Wally can break through the source wall with his speed and will eradicate anyone that isn't boundless. Now, bare minimum, bro, bare minimum. And I want no arguments. He is massively massive faster than the speed of light. The highest is like beyond speed, or like omnipresent.
So in this category, Wanda actually has the advantage over Wally. She has endured way more than the speedster has in the comic. Dr. Doom once sent a blast at Wanda, sending her crashing into the wall behind her. She then gets up like it was nothing. Wanda was able to tank an attack from Chaos, the same being that was stated to be able to destroy 98% of the Marvel's multiverse. He is also scaled to Eternity, being his counterpart. She also possesses energy shields, and she can use her force field to deflect objects. But she has a bunch of inconsistencies. Just look at her getting knocked out by a pebble. Like, what is this? She is supposed to be a boundless being, and losing to a rock? There are a ton of inconsistencies in her comics. Like, a lot. But if you look past that and just focus on her more important feats, you could scale Wanda to low uni to high multiversal. We say this because she was able to take an attack from a multiversal being. You could scale her higher because Chaos did destroy 98% of the Marvel's multiverse, but there's just too many inconsistencies to look past, so we're gonna leave it at that. Dr. Doom did say that her power is above comprehension, but who knows?
Now, I can't lie to y'all, but Wally's durability sucks butt. So the Speed Force gives the speedsters their powers, and it protects them when they're running fast so they don't disintegrate. But I mean, yeah, that's really it. I mean, he got stabbed by Deathstroke, he got shot, he got knocked down by Robin's staff. He's not sword level, staff level. Like, bro, this is ridiculous. In all seriousness though, his durability kind of doesn't matter when he's so fast. He can phase things through him, like phasing through a wall or phasing through bullets. There's a panel of Supergirl trying to knee him, and he phases through and says that he would have died if he didn't phase at the last second. He's also vibrated through Superman's grip as well. So what I'm saying is, what's the point of good durability if you don't plan to get hit? But I kid you not, bro. He gets shot and he dies, dude. One last thing. he resisted to getting erased by Dr. Manhattan himself. This dude can literally do whatever he wants. He's the one that recreated the metaverse or whatever, dude. He tried to erase Wally and then Wally came back. That's the simple way to put it. Obviously, more stuff had happened during that time, but yeah. So like overall, bro's not even staff level, but if Wally was truly trying, he would likely not be touched. So as you can see here, you guys are scamming us. We're hungry, bro. A sub, a like, please. It would mean the world to us. We're hungry. In all seriousness though, we do take time on these videos and we would really appreciate it if you guys, like and subscribe. It's free, and you could always unsubscribe if you don't like us later in the future.
So about her IQ, she's not dumb by like any means. We just wouldn't call her a super genius either. She does have full knowledge and control of not just her own power, but also Chthon, so there's that, I guess. She was actually acknowledged by Dr. Strange himself about her abilities, but this isn't really regarding her intelligence level. She's not really known to have a smart mind. People do get this confused about her probability manipulation. She can't see every outcome that can happen like Dr. Strange. She can only change the outcome.
Okay, so for IQ, I don't really need to say much. I mean, Barry thinks in attoseconds, which is 100 quintillionth of a second, and he taught Wally how to count in attoseconds as well. And yes, this obviously doesn't mean they're smart, but this does mean they can think extremely fast. I mean, they are like somewhat smart, and they're also really creative with using their powers, atomizing people. So I guess for this, Wally is above average IQ, but he thinks extremely fast, so there's that.
For being the daughter of Magneto and the sister of Quicksilver, Wanda has to have a good resume, right? She has done amazing things such as erasing people, bringing them back into existence along with herself. She can also bend reality to her will. She resurrected Jack and put a bomb into his chest, revives old German soldiers, and summons Dormammu. We kinda forgot to mention that she once shielded the light from the One Above All. The One Above All is kind of the god of the Marvel Universe, if you didn't know. Some might say he's even boundless, but she's only resisting the light, and he's not actually attacking. Now, this isn't a very strong feat, but we can say that because it's God, this would make her low outerversal at best. She didn't match the One Above All by any means, she just resisted the light. While fighting Nyx, Wanda once created light based on the possibility of there being light around her. This light is able to overwhelm the darkness from Nyx. This darkness consumed the Omniverse, reaching the House of Ideas or the House of the One Above All. The only two light sources was Wanda and that house. This would solidify that she's omniversal. She kinda has the power of infinite possibilities, like this was stated multiple times, or that she once cried so loud that it reached all that is and all that was.
So let's do a quick reminder. We already mentioned he could phase through walls, blow people up or atomize them, do an infinite mass punch, being able to resist Dr. Manhattan's erasing powers. It says right here, bro is like an organism fighting back. And also Dr. Manhattan was fighting like these magic people and said that your magic is like an error in the universe, which is crazy. He could run around in a circle to cut air from people and knock them out. He could take your kinetic energy and make you frozen. He can also time travel, but bro, like, we're not gonna use that. He's also able to trap people in the speed force as well, like what he did to Superboy Prime. And this is the same Superboy Prime that was fighting the Darkest Knight Batman, who had the body of Dr. Manhattan. And in a recent comic as well, Wally said he doesn't really feel any limits to his powers. There is more context behind this, but we're still going to use this for the fight. And he can also be in two places at once. And for experience, he's beaten magic users before, like Dr. Fate and John Constantine, although they were being controlled, so I guess it's not that impressive, but he did like beat them and while holding back. I mean, experience is experience. He beat magic users easily, so I mean, and at the start of the video I did say Zoom was able to beat the entire Justice League, so Wally could probably do the same thing. So some scenarios we think that would most likely happen is Wally runs so fast and erases her. I'm joking. There's actually many ways this fight could go. First, we'll start off with some win cons for Wanda. If Wanda ever utters the word no more speed force, Wally might be cooked. And then other than that, there's really nothing else. If she erases him, he'll probably come back, and vice versa for Wanda. If Wally kills Wanda, she'll probably come back. If she uses magic on him, he's already dealt with magic users before and was able to take them down, so it's not like he's not used to magic users. She can try opening her mouth to utter some words, but honestly, before she can even think, Wally's probably already in her face. Now you're probably thinking Wanda can just come back from the dead and Wally can't be erased, so it's like a draw, right? Well, no. It was stated in this comic that she did in fact almost die and needed help to be brought back this time, but we're not going to use that, and we're just going to say that she's immortal and she just can't die. You don't have to kill someone to win a fight. Wally can take her kinetic energy and make her frozen, and no, if we're being super realistic, Wanda will not be able to react to Wally at full speed. If you are non-biased and heard everything we said in this video, you should know before a breath, before a thought, Wally is in her face. And if Wanda just keeps coming back, Wally will just keep like killing her or freezing her or like doing all that stuff. But if you say that she's not immortal because she almost died in this comic, then Wally would probably win. Also, if she puts up an outerversal shield, Wally will probably phase through it. Can't lie.
So the only way we see Wanda winning is if she's able to take away Wally's speed force and one-shot Wally. But we're leaning towards Wally winning more. One, one, Wanda is not catching bro. Wally is going to do what Warwick did to Jinx and Vi. For 2, Wally could take her kinetic energy away, making her frozen in time, and if she's able to give herself that energy back, I mean, Wally could just do it again. For 3, Wally could just atomize her. And if a robot can be made to take care of Wanda like this, imagine Wally. Especially when Quicksilver need the Griever and hurt the Griever. Imagine what Wally would do, bro. Like, come on. Like, it's honestly not close. And we're sorry to this person because they thought Wanda would win, but actually Wally would take this one, and it's just unfair. Although Wanda can win this fight, if we're being serious about these two actually going full power, in a single zeptosecond, Wally will most likely already have taken her kinetic energy or atomized her. Let us state this one last time. The only way we see her winning is if she's able to take away his speed force or one-shotting Wally using probability or something. So yes, Wanda can win this, but would she?
No, she can't win this fight. Wally's just too fast. So in the end, Wally West will outspeed Wanda's chaos.